Am I ready now? Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay, if you've been watching me walking around for most of the day, you've probably seen that I've been, well, I can't think of a politically correct way to put it, but I've been bricking it about this. And I still kind of am. So it's kind of nice that I'm stood back this far so you can't see how much my hands are shaking. Mike mentioned that he was going to Crete, which kind of shocked me because I thought he was going to Wales. Or at least that's what he said. He said he was going to bang her for a fortnight. It's a bad start, I know. Anyway, first off, that's the first joke out of the way. But I'd like to thank everyone. Does anyone want to order me a taxi now? Right, okay, anyway, so I'd like to thank everyone for coming to this really, really special occasion, and what's most importantly, the most special day of Mike and Julia's life so far. Apparently I've heard it goes all downhill from this day, but you know, it's not a problem. I'd like to thank the Stokes and the Richardson family for helping to make everything on this day possible. And basically the most important thing I think is to thank the bridesmaids for just looking great and just adding a lot of loveliness to the day. And they've also taken a lot of the attention away from the shine that was coming off of Mike's head. So if everyone could please just put their hands together now for the bridesmaids. Okay, so for those of you who've seen me through some point in the day, you know that I'm Matt, and I'm Mike's best man. And we've managed somehow, throughout our time of knowing each other, to like stay friends for like 16 years. When I say the majority of it though, we had quite an unusual relationship at school. Not that unusual. Don't get the wrong idea. I think it was that Mike was always blessed with quite a short temper. So every couple of weeks, we fell out for a couple of weeks. So we've known each other for 16 years, but it's actually really only 8. Because most of that time, we'd have an argument over something really stupid. But things got much worse in that way when Mike decided that he was going to learn how to do karate at school. And it just brought about this really big change in Mike, where he used to just sit in the bedroom and spend hours telling me about how he could kill anyone. And he'd sit there showing me all the things that he could do. And just this particular one day, I remember walking home from school with him, and I crossed the road wrong. I was mincing, or I was doing something that I should have done, and I got a karate chop in the chest. And I can still feel that today. It's quite painful. But other than that, there's been like a lot of really, really good times, and we're great friends now. I think a lot of that's due to his honesty in a lot of different ways. He speaks his mind, he lets you know what he thinks. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that in the past, year or 5 years. He lets you know exactly what's on his mind and he lets you know what he thinks. But it's his honesty that's another thing that I want to kind of point out, or is it naivety? I'm not sure. It's another day that I particularly remember where we were walking through Staley Bridge and we found a £20 note on the floor. And we kind of spent about 3 hours, well, Mike kind of spent about 3 hours deciding whether or not we should keep it and spend it, or whether we should take it to the police station. In case someone reported it as being missing. But I think a lot of stuff's changed since then. And Mike's now actually really good with his money. He's quite ruthless with it actually. He's one of these people that I hate, that has enough to spend on what he needs, like the house and the mortgage and the gas and so on, but also has enough to buy what he wants, like the nice shiny PlayStation 3. And all that kind of stuff. But I think it's how he's managed to save money. I mean, if you think of over the past 8 years, he's not had a haircut. So we're all eating today because Mike's not had a haircut for the past 8 years. Nature provided it for free. Although, and get ready for a crap joke on this one, Mike would of course say that he's not bald, he's just a little bit taller than his hair. So I was going to ask the family for quotes and like sentences for things that they had to say about Mike. And to be honest, I left this till the last minute and it was yesterday. You can probably tell that I actually sat down and pieced it all together. So I was trying to think of like one sentence that I could use to sum Mike up, and the only thing I can recall is having to describe him to a friend who'd never met him before. It's about a year and a half ago, and we're just about to go to the pub with Mike, and he says, "So I've not met Mike before. How could you describe him?" And I was like, "Oh, he sounds a bit gay, but he's all right." I thought that summed him up all right at the time. Coming to a bit of a dry spell with the speech thing yesterday. It was actually that late. I was trying to see if anything interesting happened on the day that Mike was born. And there wasn't actually a great deal that I can say kind of turned up. I couldn't find anything interesting to find. Although, with a crap joke, apparently the nurses at Tameside Hospital still refer to that day as Ugly Friday. Okay, so... Sorry, mate. Sorry. I had a couple of other bits which I'm going to really cut short because I'm kind of figuring out that they're not going to work. But basically, I just kind of want to kind of close everything. I do want to actually close everything off now because I want to sit down and get drunk like the rest of you do. But the bar staff, you know, like we're paying their wages. The sooner I finish, the sooner they can earn money. One thing that you can look on the internet and you can try and find like things to say about people. And one thing that it doesn't say is that Mike and Julia are just so suited for each other. They're just perfect in every way. They're great friends to everybody that knows them. They're always up for a laugh. And those things you can't search for on the internet or ask other people about. You just have to kind of sit by the side of them and see those things kind of happen. They're the best friends that I can honestly say I've ever had. They're great to go out with. Julia's smiling at me really wide. You want to laugh a little bit. But I mean, they are such great friends. And I really don't know what else to say. There was other bits that I had in there, but I've lost those now. They were way back. So that's pretty much enough from me. I'm a bit rubbish. I was bricking it a bit at the beginning. I just want to draw things to a close by just asking everyone to please stand up, raise your glasses. The happy couple, Mr. Mike and Julia Stokes.